Hello everyone and welcome to the Encore Learning webinar of leasing existing apartments in the new construction market, which is one of our highest rated sessions at the 2016 NAA Education Conference and Exposition last month in San Francisco. Before we begin, I'd like to take a few minutes to tell you some of the upcoming learning opportunities from NAA. Firstly, we'll have a second Encore Learning webinar on Thursday, August 25th at 3 p.m. Eastern, featuring another top-rated session from the 2016 NAA Education Conference and Exposition. The session is titled Google Me, Fostering an Innovative Company Culture, and will feature a panel of experts including Audra Lemoon, Dana Pate, Lee Beanstalk, and Tracy Bowers. NAA's affiliate organization, the National Apartment Association Education Institute, NAAEI, is proud to present Rewind, a collection of 53 PowerPoint-synced audio and video recorded sessions from the 2016 NAA Education Conference. Purchasing this powerful online learning tool allows you to have ongoing access to some of the very best education and training content in the industry. You can share this content with your colleagues via training sessions and brown bag lunches, and you earn up to 6 CECs towards your NAAEI designation renewal. The purchase price is $299 for the 53 session set of sessions, and is a great investment in your professional development. And last but not least, please mark your calendars for the 2017 NAA Education Conference and Exposition, slated for June 21st through 24th, 2017 in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. We're already working hard to develop world-class education content for you and believe we can surpass the high benchmark we achieved in San Francisco. Now we can turn our sights towards today's presentation. Please let me introduce you to our awesome expert. So the content from today's webinar was originally delivered at the 2016 NAA Education Conference by Lisa Trozine. Unfortunately, Lisa had an emergency and couldn't make the webinar today. She did a fantastic job in San Francisco, which is why we wanted to feature her session again today. She sends her deepest apologies about not being able to be present with this webinar, but luckily for us, we have Kate Good, who was able to fill in at the last minute. As a developer, Kate Good is building the apartment she always wanted to lease. Based in Houston, Kate's first development was HBJ's Deal of the Year. In 2015, she had the fastest lease up for the greater Houston area. Known for her speaking talents, she takes successful ideas to stage and shares them with more than 15,000 people each year. She is also a partner with the Apartment All-Stars, 13 years and counting. Kate?
Hello, everybody. Guess what? You get me. Surprise, surprise. Well, I am honored to be able to deliver this webinar today because I was at NAA in San Francisco, sitting in the front row. I heard Lisa Trozine present this webinar live, or this seminar live, and knew that it was information that had to be repeated. So when she was able to make it today, it was really my honor to step into her beautiful shoes and deliver this great program because I am enthusiastic about all the research and the ideas that she put together for you guys. So although I don't think I could present it exactly as Lisa Trozine would have, I'm going to do my best. Now, this is a subject that I know intimately well because I build apartments. I build brand new apartment communities. And in fact, I'm working on a brand new apartment community right now. And at the same time, I've spent a great deal of my career competing against brand new apartments when my properties weren't the newest one in town. So there's advantages to both sides. And what we're going to do today is we're going to explore what happens when you are in a new construction market, which I think it's just about most of the country right now. There has been a lot of new construction in the last 24 months in so many of our markets. Some of our markets are even reaching the point of possibly being overbuilt. So see how quickly that can happen? We've got all this new construction out there, but yet we still have a really great stock of existing apartment communities who all of a sudden they find themselves hearing new names pop up when they ask the customer the question, well, where else are you looking? So if you're in a new construction market, you are bound to hear, I'm also looking at, and it's a brand new apartment community. Because the advantage that new apartment communities have is that when people are looking for an apartment, they always want to go see what's new out there, what's nice, what does this other apartment community compare to. And that's why our brains always react positively to new. New always brings about something that means something to us. It makes us think about something new. So, or makes us think about something else. Sarah, I'm having trouble taking control. Can you help me out? There we go. There we go. All right, thanks, guys. I think we're on target now. So we react to things that are new, and we react very positively to things that are new. There is a portion of our brain that reacts with some hesitance and some anxiety, but there's a bigger portion of our brain that says, wow, it's unknown. It piques our interest because we think we're going to discover something. We're going to feel something different when we see new. And for the most part, in the history of our lives, we've always had very positive experiences with things that are new. So your brain will always positively react then based on its previous experiences. So we reach a peak in our brain activity when we see things that are new, and it's because our excitement level starts to rise. Now, let's think about things that are new and how we react. How about babies? Babies are brand new. They're so innocent. They have absolutely no history. They haven't made any mistakes yet. They would pay off another person. So even the most pessimistic people who say, I don't like anything new, can't look at a baby and not smile and not have a really warm feeling about this new life coming to our earth. This human being that is so perfect and innocent will always bring about a very good feeling because it's brand new. Of course, can't do a seminar without talking about shoes. Now, we've got two pairs of shoes on the screen. Obviously, the ones on the right have been worn, and there isn't anything that feels as great as a really worn out pair of shoes that just fits you so nice. But then when you get that new shoe, you like your new shoe also because it's brand new, and it looks good, and it feels good also because it's brand new. When we don't like it is when we're trying to wear it out and get it to the point that it feels good on our feet, but we love that new pair of shoes. So this is a really good example where you've got the comfortable pair of shoes and then you've got the brand new shoes. You can make an argument for both of them, right? That comfortable pair of shoes is something you can count on. But the brand new pair of shoes is intriguing. Makes you want to go out and buy something and put it on and see how it feels. What about that moment that we go off and we buy a new car? It doesn't even have to be a brand new car out of the factory. It could just be a new to you car. Your blood pressure peaks when that salesperson finally hands over that piece of that key to you. That is your moment. That is the key moment. And it is so entrenched with emotion that years ago, and this is going back a few years, everybody, Saturn even made that the point of all of their commercials, that moment when they turn the keys over. And they would have a key ceremony in their showroom every time they turned over the key. I remember that Saturn commercial. It always brought tears to my eyes when the sales manager stood up and said, hi, everybody, this is Sarah, and this is Sarah's first new car. And they hand Sarah the keys, and Sarah takes the keys, and she's so excited because she's getting in her first new car. That feeling of new, it really means something to us, and it's something we're excited for. For many people, they've saved to reach that point in their lives when they could get something new. And so now the gratification that you were able to put it in your hands means everything. One of the most recognized scents in the modern world, no matter what country you live in, is the new car smell. New car smell, you know it when you get in it. How many times have you sat in your friend's car and said, is this new? You might have been able to tell just by looking at the outside of it, but that new car smell brings about a good feeling inside you. It wakes emotion in you that says, this is new, this is nice, and it piques your interest. So how do we take that feeling of new and we promote it in the apartment industry? Well, the apartment industry actually does a really good job of focusing on things that are new. We like things that are new. We know that it sells to our customers. That feeling of brand new always gets our attention. Well, if it's new, it must have the latest, greatest of everything. So as we dig deep into the website that we're looking at here, and we click on amenities, we see that we've got different apartment communities listed. But then when we go to learn more and we look at their unique attributes of this apartment community, Notice how this apartment community, they've got their pet friendly, you can move in now, they're close to rapid transit, you can get a zip car, they've got a concierge, they've got on-site retail, and they're also promoting brand new as one of their amenities. So that brand new is a desirable feature in apartments, and they point that out. They make that relevant to the customer. And now the customer starts to think, well, maybe I want new. Maybe new is where I need to be. But the question is, how do we compete if we're not brand new? And how do we keep up with those apartment communities that are new? Well, we're going to walk through a process now of how you compete with new. First of all, you have to do your homework. What does that mean to do your homework? Well, you've got to do some research. You've got to know what your competitors are doing. Where are they positioning themselves? What are they positioning? What is making them unique? Why does somebody want to live there? A new apartment community has the advantage of stepping back and looking and seeing what does the customer want and then building what today's customer wants. But if you're an existing apartment community and you're built 10 or 15 years ago, you don't have that advantage. And so you've got to deal with what you've got while your competition is building for what today's customers want. So the first thing you want to do is take a look out there and see what is the competition doing. And because they've really done their research to find out what customers want today. Before we build an apartment community, we could do almost a year of development work where we're designing that community. We're searching through the market. We're starting to understand what that market wants and who is that target renter. And so all that research has been done. And when you start to do your research of the new competitors, you're going to be able to take advantage of what they know. So some of the things you want to do for your homework, take note of their location, what's cool about their location, and then compare it to yours. What are the different types of apartments that they're going to be building? What are the different sizes? The interior amenities of the apartment are very important too, because every year you may be doing some improvements to your community, and this would give you some ideas of what you could be doing to improve your community with that capital expenditure money that you have. Maybe they're changing up their policies. I know at my apartment community, we pretty much threw out every pet policy we had and just made it open to almost all pets because we know that that's such a huge, huge trend. But we couldn't do that without building amenities for those pets and without building, emergency walk zones when they can't make it to the pet park and making sure that we've got flooring that really stands up to the wear and tear of a pet. So we took out all those policies, but then we built a community that was really made for it. Please remember also that new apartment communities have interesting pricing policies because they're working with sophisticated revenue management systems that are going to adjust their prices based on availability in the market and availability for them. Their hours of operation, the days that they're open may be different also. When I'm in lease-up, my apartment communities are always open till 8 p.m. in the summer for garden communities and 8 p.m. all year round for wrap communities where you don't have to go outside. Why do we do that? Because we found that the majority of our traffic, they're inquiring after 5 o'clock. Well, they're inquiring after 3 o'clock, and they're signing leases after 5 o'clock. If your office is only open until 5:30 or 6 o'clock, when these brand new apartment communities are accepting all that traffic, you're closing down your shades and turning off the music and putting the cookies away. You're closing up shop when other apartment communities are just getting going. And that's why it's so important to think about hours of the day. If you want to compete with that new construction, you're going to need to be open also. Next one, community amenities. What are some things that your community that are offered at those new apartment communities that might be amenities that people are looking for? Now, if you're going to go back and you're going to add some of these things to your apartment community, this might take some planning because it's more expensive and you don't have the space for it. But I hear all the time apartment communities saying, Kate, we used to find that people were using, say, a racquetball court, and nobody's playing racquetball anymore. What should we do with that area? If we're going to do some retrofitting, what do we do with that area? My suggestion is always, well, let's see what the new communities in your market are doing. Let's go talk to their leasing teams and find out how often they're used, and maybe that's an idea of something that we can do to improve the community. Next, take a look and try to guess what their target market is by studying all of their marketing. You want to know exactly who this new competitor is and who are they reaching out for when they're reaching out for new rentals. So who is our target market? Are they going after a young crowd? Do they want a retired crowd? And as many apartment communities are doing today, they're going for both. They're building an apartment community that really suits empty nesters as well as first-time renters. And they may have different product offerings to meet those market demands. The next thing I think you want to do is take a look at their marketing. Their marketing will tell you where the hot traffic is probably going to be coming from for them. New apartment communities typically have some of the best marketing budgets you can imagine because they have to lease up an entire community in 1 year. So their marketing budgets are usually pretty rich. Now, as an existing apartment community, don't get upset. Don't get upset at all. I've got an apartment community. It's still pretty new, but 1 block away, we are competing with a brand new apartment community. And I want to tell you guys, it's really nice. They did a really good job. We can definitely compete with them. We've got comparable amenities. We're a better location. We got a lot of things going for us. But one thing I don't have this year is the marketing budget that I had in my lease-up year. But the fact that there's a brand new apartment community a block away is an advantage to me. Think about why. They're going to be doing all that marketing to attract people to come to their apartment community. This is something Jennifer Nevitt, one of my great marketing minds in the apartment industry friend, told me years ago. She said, Kate, that's known as halo marketing. Halo marketing is simply this. They're spending all that money for marketing, and if you're in a certain radius of that apartment community, you're going to benefit because they're drawing the traffic to your submarket. Now what you need to do is make sure that you are positioned with what marketing you're doing to be visible to the traffic that is going to your competitor. Let them spend all that money to attract the traffic, but make sure you are visible when people are going to take a look at that apartment community. So that might mean some banner ads. That might mean some temporary signage. That might mean a sign spinner. That might mean some outreach marketing to the coffee shops that are in the area that people might stop at when they go to look at that apartment community. You can use all of that to your advantage. That's why partnerships are so important. Now, partnerships with new apartment communities happen very easily with brands. Whether you're in a partnership with IKEA or West Elm or Capital Grill or something that is another industry, but it's a profile that your profile would also take their business to when they want a Saturday night out, or they're looking for a Sunday brunch spot, or possibly it's the market where they're going to be doing all their shopping. New apartment communities set up these type of partnerships, but it's not just for the new, everybody. Anyone can do that. It just takes a little bit of effort, and I think it's actually easier sometimes for the existing apartment communities to build those partnerships because you already have a community full of residents.
Hi, everyone. I think Kate must have lost connection. Hopefully she'll dial back in really soon. Sorry, everyone, about this. I just spoke with Kate. She's dialing back in now.
Okay, Sarah, am I back?
Yes, you're back.
Okay, good. All right, help me out. Where did it drop? And I'm so sorry, everybody.
So just click on
where did I
think around partnerships.
Okay, good. Then I didn't get too far without you guys. Okay, hopefully it won't move again. We won't drop the call again. Next up, we were talking about preferred employers. Now, there's a great time in a lease-up when apartment communities will get all their staff ready to go. The brochures are in. We've got some iPad leasing set up, but we're not in our clubhouse yet, and we don't have anything to show yet. In fact, we may not even have a move-in date, but we've got the staff ready to go. And so we need something for them to do. And so we always send them out to go visit all the preferred employers and go do all the outreach marketing. And I'm telling you guys, it is such a luxury to have that time and the people to do that. And it's just really a small opportunity, maybe 2 or 3 weeks at the most a month, that you can really get a lot of that done. But it is a huge advantage for brand new apartment communities. And so they're out there doing it. So you want to make sure that you put some time into your weekly schedule so that you can get out and be visible to all the area employers and all the typical outreach marketing places that you would go, because you got to know your competition is making the time to do it. And then next up is to make yourself visible to all the brokers and locators. The last community that I built was in Houston, Texas. And Houston has a huge locator market, so we definitely have to play along with the locators, even though I'm not a big fan of it. I got to do it. But the brokers and locators are great about spreading the word, and they are always in touch with the people that are relocating to the area. So I really think it's so important that you understand how to do a launch program, even if you're in an existing community with brokers and locators, so that they know that there's another option when they're showing people that are new to the area. The next thing I want you to do in your homework assignment is to have them shop. Know what they're saying, and do they have like the most amazing leasing people ever? Because it will be an advantage to you to know exactly how they're positioning themselves. I send shoppers out to new apartment communities all the time with specific questions that I want to ask them about prices and specials, and maybe look and lease specials also. But also, I want to evaluate how is their leasing team doing, because that can also be a huge differential. Check out their online reviews. Now, this is an advantage for you because you're an existing apartment community. You've already got reviews. We were at a disadvantage when we opened our last apartment community because we didn't have any reviews. And so people were going to find out about us and they couldn't give it information that they needed. And I did get some feedback that affects people, and it affects people in terms of making a decision. They want to hear what other people have to say. So a new apartment community is working really hard to get their first couple residents to put some positive reviews up there. As an existing apartment community, you want to be inviting people to read your reviews. We do a lot of that through social media. One of the things that I'll do is I'll clip good reviews off of Facebook because they're not always on our Facebook feed. They're kind of buried. You have to click on the tab that says reviews. I'll clip them out. I'll do a little snip. I'll save it as a JPEG. And then I go back to our wall and I post that as a new posting. And so I've got a whole file of those that are set up, and we post a new review about every 4 to 5 days. So we're constantly showing those reviews online. And that's something that every single apartment community can do. Even if you have bad reviews, if you're taking those good reviews, all the good reviews that you have, and you're keeping them visible, you have an advantage over your competition that is brand new because they don't have any reviews yet. So make sure that you position yourself. To take advantage of what you have that your new competition may not have. Next up, make friends. Know who is out there. Make friends with all the new construction properties. and talk to them. You want, after you shop them, of course, and now you might want to go back and introduce who you are also. But remember I was telling you guys about that brand new apartment community on the corner? Well, guess what? They just took a delay. They took about a 60-day delay. And so I was able to talk to them and say, hey, we'll take the people that you can't accommodate. You can't wait 60 days. We'll take those people. And we were able to work out a referral program. So I think things like that are really important, that you're thinking about strategies for how can you be working with this new competition. Do not ignore them. Think about how you can move them into your sales and marketing process. Okay, then I want you to really think about, how do you compare? How do you compare and how do you contrast? What do you have that's equal to your competition, your new competition, and where might you be lacking based on what they're going to be doing? So let's take a look at what that can mean. Here are some givens for you. These are things you just got in your back pocket. You're an established property. You have an established resident profile. You've got those reviews. You know who your target market is, and you know where to find them. You've got an experienced staff that can ask questions. New apartment communities are sometimes very chaotic because the leasing team, they have to answer questions for the first time. And so they may not have all the answers right away. And that could be a problem for some renters. You've got neighborhood knowledge because you're part of that neighborhood. You're part of that fabric, and you help to build that neighborhood. You know who your residents are. You know what they like. You know what kind of activities they like. You can ask those residents for referrals. The best lease that we could possibly get comes from a resident referral. So it's wonderful when you can ask for that referral. When you're a new property, you don't have anyone to ask for a resident referral because no one lives there yet. And as nice as new construction is, there's always going to be some construction hassles. There's going to be existing noise for those people who move in the first 6 months because you're still building the rest of the community. There's going to be some things that just don't work right the first time that they've got to work through. Some of your future residents may see that as something that they don't want to be a part of. Another given that you have is your reputation. Your reputation can be that red carpet that attracts people to your communities. Then we want to look at similarities. Is there better? Is what they have better? Why or why not? And I think it's also important to qualify it. Is it a necessity or a nice to have? Is it a necessity or a nice to have? So some of the new apartment communities have amenities that you think, wow, that's great. They've got a digital game room where people can game with people all around the globe, and it's set up with Bluetooth speakers and Bluetooth headsets and gear, and they've got cool graphics, and it's dark and cold and really awesome. Well, guess what? I built that. At the apartment community I just built, and nobody used it. So other people might have been jealous that they didn't have it at their apartment community, but I spent all that money for it and realized it's a nice to have, but it wasn't a necessity. So those are things that you're going to be looking for. What are some other things to think about with similarities? Is yours better? Why or why not? You're going to ask yourself this: can you improve yours? Apartment communities are always saving money for capital improvements. And some of those capital improvements are going to be things that help to keep the physical asset looking good. But some of those capital improvements should also be keeping the bottom line healthy too. And so you're going to want to be looking for things that when you have the money to make improvement at your apartment community, these are things that are appealing to your target market. And generally it's driven by what's new in the area. Now we're going to look at differences. What do they have that you do not have? And this is the important question. Is it a deal breaker? Is it a deal breaker? I have seen so many cool amenities. In fact, I did a whole program on brand new amenities, both interior apartment amenities and community amenities. My slide deck, you guys, had 130 slides in it. I'm happy to share it with everybody. But I want to give you guys this disclaimer that you can't put all those ideas into an apartment community because, one, it's not economically feasible, but two, I wouldn't do it anyway because not everybody needs it or wants it. So apartment communities are sometimes spending money, the new apartment communities, on things that seem like they're really great, but no one is using them. So unless it's really a deal breaker with your property, I really wouldn't worry about it so much because you can still have solid, sales and marketing, attracting that customer and closing that customer without all the bells and whistles. You've got to have a really good team, and your community has to look great also. So don't get too upset about it. Just ask yourself, is it a deal breaker? And then what do you have that they do not? And are you selling it effectively? That is so important to really understand what your advantage is over your competition, and are you selling it effectively? And then you've got to have a plan. But your plan has to be built with all of this knowledge that you have about your new competition. What do you know about them? All those questions we just went through is really the foundation to building that plan. So I hope you took a few notes there. Your customer service must be top-notch. Must be top-notch. Some of the best apartment communities in the world are healthy and raising rents and have some of the best rents in the market because people just want to live there and they don't want to move out because they like the way they're treated. And you may look at your competition, which is brand new, and they've got this really beautiful pool, and they've got 12,000 square feet of amenity space, whoop-de-doo, but they don't have a staff that's taking time to really handle the needs of those customers. And that's really sad. It's very sad, but it can be your advantage. So taking care of your customers is one of those intangible amenities that spreads the good word about your apartment community and attracts other people. You want to always be going for that 5-star rating. You never want to let something stay broken for too long, unpainted, dirty, or simply bad service. You know those days when you know your owners are coming out for a visit and the regional manager is going to be there, and all of a sudden you get out those Mr. Clean erasers and you clean up every little problem on the apartment community. Every single day should be like that. You want to make sure you look good each and every day. You want that 5-star rating always, every single day. Put your phone away. Look at this picture. She's getting embraced by this wonderful hug by this great guy, but she's more interested in something going on her phone. Although the first time I looked at this picture, I thought maybe she was taking a selfie. But put your phone away. The phone actually becomes a communication barrier. You should not be looking at it when you're taking time with your customer. Is that good customer service? Not when you're on your phone. That customer should have your undivided attention. So it's even little things like that that can really make a difference for your customer and the way that you present yourself to that customer. Okay, so after you put your remember to put your phone away, there's some more things that I want you guys to think about. Inspecting what you expect. If you want to have that beautiful and nice apartment community, sorry, my slides got a little bit ahead of me. Or I should say Lisa's slides. There we go. Expect what you expect. So what do you expect? If you are in a new competition market where there's new construction all around you, you don't want to be the apartment community that isn't putting their best foot forward. Don't do this, where you just have pictures of your sign. If your sign is the nicest thing about your apartment community, then you got real problems. In other words, I don't think you've taken the time to find out exactly what is the nicest thing about your apartment community. So one of the things that I always see is people putting pictures of their signs and their ads. I just don't think that that's what you want to lead with. There's better stuff to talk about at your apartment community. This is another thing you don't want to do. A picture that looks like this. If this is your exterior, that's not the best part of your apartment community. You can find something better to show. Take a picture that doesn't have that car, or even the car in the end where somebody's getting out of that car. That doesn't look good either. So think about your photography. Brand new apartment communities have beautiful photography because they pay a lot of money for it. So you want to make sure you're setting yourself up with good photography. This apartment community is featuring this dog walking area, which, yeah, it's great if you have a lot of pets living at your apartment community. But wouldn't it be great to have a picture of a dog in that pet park? Then that really gets that person's attention because we all ooh and ah over pets. So there's definitely ways to set up your photography. Oh, look how sad this is. This is actually found on an internet listing service. The apartment community took a picture of their mailboxes and put that in their photo carousel, which I just think is so ridiculous. It's not that important. Everybody knows that U.S. mail is going to come to any address. So why would you put a picture of your mailbox? That really turns off that future renter. It's just not putting your best foot forward. You want to think about that. Or this. Excuse me. This is a nice apartment community. I'm sure it's got a beautiful, it's well kept, it looks great, but if you really dial into this picture, I cannot believe that this is the picture that they put up of their apartment community. Look at that refrigerator. Count the dents on that refrigerator. That is not how you compete with something that is brand new. You've got to have better photography than that. Find a better apartment to shoot, not that apartment. It just doesn't look good. Now, this picture is beautiful, right? But this picture is actually a rendering. What they did was they took a picture of an empty room, and there's lots of services that you can send it off to where they send it back to you with furniture in it. Or you can have a digital model made of any floor plan. Digital models now are as low as $200 to have them made, and I've got lots and lots and lots of resources for that. New apartment communities spend the money for that because they don't have anything to show yet, and so it always looks so nice. You can do the same. You don't have to be a new apartment community to have digital models created of all your different floor plans. See how nice those look? They're just beautiful. It's gorgeous, and it really feels very livable in there too. It really brings it to life. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some different websites. The majority of our traffic is coming to us through the internet, so we really want to make sure that we're putting our best foot forward with the internet. Here we're taking a look at Red Peak's corporate site, and some of the things that you'll see when you click throughout Red Peak's corporate site is they do a really good job of selling their strengths. Excuse me. So many of their apartment communities are very different. They all have very unique things about them, and so they focus on selling strengths. Service you need, locations you want. That is definitely their strength throughout their portfolio. The next thing I noticed on this website is they make it easy. Browse by location, browse by type, browse by map, browse by price. These are things that make it easy for the customer to find what they are looking for. And the easier you make it for somebody to lease an apartment, the more likely they are to do it. So make it easy. So ask yourself, is it time to change? Possibly that website that you built, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, it's not going to meet the needs of today's renter because websites have come a long way. Consider a new or updated website. What can you do to make your website new and updated? Well, let's take a look at some remarkable transformations that you can make. This is kind of an old website, homegrown. Definitely could use an update. That's really kind of an old style of a website. You can do something new. Look how beautiful this one is with an updated way to list their different apartment communities that they have to offer. And then you can do different things on there like look and lease specials. Updating it is always a great idea. This next one that we're looking at, they've got a pop-up that talks about what they offer. Chic one-bedrooms with attached garages, charming fireplaces. So they're using new plugins that they can on their website to make it look more marketable. Their website, new apartment communities, I'm just going to say it, they got sexier websites. They just they scream at you and they say, come live here. This is a great lifestyle. This is where you want to be. That appeal really screams new. But any apartment community can have a website like that. I love this website. So beautiful. Very simple, very clean, but very new and elegant. I love how they position themselves. Why isn't everyone doing that? Sky House has some of the sexiest marketing that I've seen. This is for Sky House in Atlanta. There's 2 Sky House properties in Houston. They're all very beautiful, but they have gorgeous, very clean websites, sexy, sexy marketing. So you can do that too. This, I think, is a very approachable website for Opus 29, Urban Living on Centennial. I just think it's beautiful how they position that one with a great lifestyle photo right off the top. Think about what you can do. Of all the websites I looked at, I thought this was one of the most beautiful ones. Lisa Trezine showed me this one for Tapestry in Naperville. And maybe it's just that awesome logo, but it feels fresh and new. And anyone can update their logo and create something really new and fresh and sexy like that. So love it, love it, love it. There's so many things that you can do. Open more days, longer hours. This is something that Artisan Urban Apartments really features right there on their homepage. Now open 7 days a week. Schedule your private tour today. I love that, and I love that layer over there, Top Shelf Living. I think that's so beautiful. They just thought of everything. Now let's talk a little bit about more about what new construction is doing in terms of pricing. Sometimes they're going to offer a concession to those people that move in the first couple months because they're dealing with all sorts of noises or inconveniences. But what that means is that there's going to be a big renewal increase. So if you're competing against new construction, that might be something that you want to point out. You know, they can guarantee the price this year, excuse me, but then that price could definitely increase. This is on the mind of every renter and not to be missed if it's something that you're seeing in your market right now. I'm noticing it in a lot of markets that have a lot of new construction, because that new construction, they're competing against each other. And so there's a lot of new products in the market, and they're playing different pricing games. And those pricing games can really work to your advantage when you are an established apartment community, because what you can do is you can really think about what's going to happen when that apartment lease comes up for renewal, that they've got to make a big jump. But 2M Street really, really figured out a way to take advantage of this. Right there on their homepage, they say, at renewal, your rent will never increase more than 5%. That's the absolute max. Well, I think that was probably pretty safe for them to say, just thinking about where the markets are right now. And I thought that was a really smart way to compete against new construction. I think that was just so smart to answer that question that people have. Okay, so let's talk about what's working around the country. What is working, and how can you take advantage of these things that are working? Focus all your efforts on customer service and resident retention. It's so much easier to keep the residents that you have. We've known this our whole career, than to go out and find new ones. But get really, really super hyper about it if you've got a lot of new construction around you, because new construction properties are going to stabilize by picking your residents. So you want to hang on to those people and keep them, especially if you're in an area that's getting quickly overbuilt. Think about a renewal gathering. I thought this was such a cute idea. Lisa found this. And this is a wine and cheese party. And you come in and you do a little tasting and you mingle with other residents and you sign your new lease. But do something special for those people coming up for renewals. Accept larger dogs. Consider relaxing those weight restrictions, relaxing what kind of pets you allow into your apartment community. We got a pet pig at our apartment community. We even had somebody come by that had a miniature goat that wanted to live in our apartment community. Not right for our wrap apartments, but we might be able to accommodate them in our townhouses. Unemployed pets welcome. We never charge pet rent. Isn't this great? They're really stepping out to that pet renter and figuring out how they can appeal to them with the no pet rent thing. Accept and deliver packages to residents. You know, many apartment communities are no longer accepting packages. Well, you know, I'm in a market where we're seeing a lot of that, because one of the largest owners in the city has said nationwide they're no longer accepting packages. So we said, well, we're going to go completely the other direction, and we're going to accept those packages because we know that that might be a product differential for us in terms of people who need to get packages for their work, or they do all their online shopping. We want to be of service to them. Put renewal emphasis on resident events and services. So everything that you do now for your customers, make it a renewal event so that people know you want them to stay another year. Get their attention before they go look at other apartment communities. Lock them in. Maybe it's something like taking popsicles to your younger humans at your apartment community on a hot Saturday. Like, ooh, this week it's so hot. It'd be great to take popsicles out to everybody. Having pop-up breakfast for your residents, not just on Saturdays, but the days that they don't want to cook because they have to get off to work. Or maybe dog treats one day at 6:30 when everybody's coming home and they're walking their pets. Have some dog treats. I think things that are totally unexpected get that customer's attention, and those are the things that they remember. Many apartment communities only offer coffee during certain hours. But I know in our area, we've got a lot of people that work in the medical center. So we do it 24 hours a day. It doesn't cost that much, but people really appreciate it, that we think about them. I love this apartment community. They even have stamped the the tennis balls for the dogs to play with. I think that's so fun for branding. And anything that you can do to be of service, delivering that dry cleaning to the door. New apartment communities don't have time to do that. So you can be the one that does that and really stand out and hang on to those renters. When they get used to services like that, hey, you guys, they don't want to move out. They're so used to those great services. All right, let's look at some data that Satisfax has shared with us. The top 5 influencers on a renewal. What are they? Okay, appearance and condition of the apartment. We can control that. We can definitely control that. We need to control that because that's one of the reasons why people renew. Neighbors, that's something else you can control. If a neighbor is making noise, you got to get on that. You've got to handle that. If that goes unchecked, that resident will move out when that neighbor is bothering them. When they come up for renewal, they're out of there. They don't want to stay there for another year. So handle those problems. Here's another thing you can control, responsiveness and dependability of the staff. Community-sponsored social events, appearance, condition of the grounds, and landscaping. All of this came from apartment renters. And guess what? The top 5 influencers on why people renew are all things that we can control. So we have to control that if we want to hang on to that customer. Your staff is a difference maker. They can look good. New construction properties always budget money for career apparel. Couldn't find the word. I wanted to say uniforms, but that's such an old word. Career apparel. So any apartment community can do that. You don't have to be new to do that. New apartment communities are also out to hire the best people. You can do that too. I want you to really think about your existing staff. How are they doing? How are they working it? You have the very best people there. If you're in a new construction market, you better. You've got to have great people servicing your customers and leasing apartments. The very best people out there have product confidence. They know that they've got something great to lease because they're new. So have people on your team that truly, genuinely like your apartment community, love to sell it. They have to believe they're good enough. You are good enough. Put that sign up. Your apartment community can get those rentals. Now let's think about Disney for a moment. Don't you feel like every time you go to Disney, there's something new there? Every time you go to Disney, it feels like it was just built. All the paint is perfect and not worn out. There isn't a piece of trash on the ground. The people are also happy to work there. And Disney has been around my entire lifetime. Well, guess what? That is a great example for us all to follow. What would Disney do at your apartment community? Tell your responsive maintenance team. The maintenance team has more contact with your residents than you do. So your responsive maintenance team is a big part of why people stay. Upon renewal, I like to give out numbers like 98% of our service requests are completed within 24 hours of your call. Now, I don't just pull that number out of the air. I'd want to check that out first and make sure it's true. But that is something, that's a good reason why people stay, because that's something they encounter and they're probably going to need throughout their lease. This is another important thing to think about, a personal leasing consultant. When you lease to that customer, you own that customer throughout the life of their lease. So you become their personal concierge for anything that they need, any problem that they have, anything that they need. You want to give them that personal touch. So what does that mean? You handle the move-in. You act as the main point of contact throughout their lease term. You invite them. You personally call them up and invite them to resident events. Remember, these are the people you lease to. You provide soft touches throughout their lease term so that they know you still care about them. You call them on your birthday, and you call them back after their service request to make sure everything was okay. And then you've earned the right to handle that renewal and sell to them all over again. Partner with local fitness trainers to offer various classes. They would love to come in and use your facility to provide classes for your residents. So that's a great person to partner with. But most of all, listen. Listen to what your customers want. Listen to what your customers need and respond to it. You've got great residents there. Hang on to them and deliver for them. What can you offer them that's going to make them happy? Let's take a look at this Yelp review. Okay, they've got 4.5 stars. This is great. This is something that they can be using to promote their apartment community because they've got this 4.5 stars. I think that is so smart. Think about how you can improve your asset. What additions, what changes can you make to your asset? These are all things that you want to be planning for right now. Another thing that you want to constantly look at is to truly understand different technology that people are putting into apartments. The smart apartment is really taking off. You know, how can I control things in my apartment on my smartphone? When you look at all the technology that's out there, you'll start to see that it's really become an in-demand type of amenity. So I can get a notification when somebody goes in my apartment. I can adjust my thermostat while I'm out of town. I can unlock my door if somebody is there to deliver something. When we survey renters, this is one of the highest areas of responsiveness in terms of what people want. How much would you expect per month for these types of things? Well, when you add it all together, people say, yeah, I'll pay $50 to $100 a month. But the truth is, you can do it at your apartment community for just $36 a month. And that is something that people really will pay more for. There's all sorts of new locking systems that will integrate with your computer system in your office. So it knows when people are moving in and out, and it can take it back to a vendor key or to a management key, I should say. Other things that we're adding into existing apartment communities now are really cool shower heads with stereo speakers on them so that you can truly have a good time in that shower and sing your favorite songs. This is an easy retrofit item into your existing apartment community. Why not do it? Because the new apartment communities are doing it. It's super inexpensive and easy to change out existing outlets and add USB ports to those outlets. I can't think of a new apartment community that's being built right now that doesn't have USB outlets. Another thing is lighting. Just by changing out the type of lighting that is in this apartment community and in the room, you are giving it an instant technology upgrade. This is a really cool light because it also has a speaker on it, and it can do multiple colors. And look at that price. It's only $34. What a really cool renewal gift. So incremental upgrades like this can make a big difference to your customer. And what we're finding in surveys is these are the things that people want. This is what they remark most about. It's got the highest gee whiz that there is. How about on their balcony? They get a vertical garden where they can put their herbs out on the porch and grow them for their salad that they're going to make over the weekend. $73, a great upgrade. This is an apartment community that's got one in their outside in their common area, and it's a community garden so that everybody at the apartment community can share in that. And boy, doesn't that just really also give that neighborhood feel at that apartment community. This is a light, a really cool lamp that you can add that has plugins on it. Now, I love this for a renewal gift or possibly a moving gift. I think and I've seen them in all different price ranges. You can really dig out for that one. This is a solar tree that enables you to charge your cell phone. Talk to your power companies. A lot of times they've got credits for this so that you can get a discount on buying these from them just by putting it into your apartment community. This is a beautiful apartment community in Dallas, Texas that has a wrapping station. How easy would that be to add it to your apartment community? I think they did a wonderful, wonderful job there. And it goes on and on. Just think about all the things that you could do. Now let's talk about how we're responding on the sales side. 42% of multifamily leads receive no response. We've been quoting this stat for years, and I'm telling you what, everybody, even with all the technology that's out there, we haven't gotten much better at responding to those leads. So if you want more traffic, it's right there. You just need to respond to it. Responding to a lead within 1 minute increases your chances of closing that lead by almost 400%. Respond 5 times to an email lead before giving up. Because people have so many emails that come in, they may miss it. They may miss your email, or it may go to spam. So make sure you don't give up on responding to that. And then callers to receive 6 follow-up attempts. Because they have a lot of choices out there, you want to stand out. What are we doing here? We're drafting. In the biking world, when you get a little tired, you get behind somebody that's got all the strength because you're going to go faster based on their speed. If you get right behind them, their wind is going to pull you along. Now, you still have to do some of the work, but you don't have to do all of their work. what you can do is you can draft off a new construction in your neighborhood, just like that halo marketing that I was talking about. Now, let's take a look at another website. This is Bazzuto Group. One of the things that Bazzuto is really good about is getting you into a database so that you can get a newsletter. These are ways that you can stay in contact with renters. Now, I think this is really important because that renter may not rent from you this year, but let's think. Maybe they didn't like the place they decided to live, and then they're coming around for their renewal, and they get a newsletter from you guys, and they say, oh, yeah, we really liked it. Maybe we should have moved in there. So because you've got that newsletter, you're staying in touch with them. This Greystar property has the ability to text with their customers, start a text conversation. So many businesses are doing that outside the industry now that people are expecting that. Build a great culture on the social media sites that really make people want to live at your apartment community. Show the fun that you're having. Show everything that you're doing so that you have the ability to really show what it's like to live there. Now, no new apartment community can have this sign up. This sign says reserved for long-term resident parking only. And look when that person moved in 1981. Nobody can do that in a new apartment community. What does that say? That says that person loves it there. Now, I want to finish on this note. Don't be frustrated. Don't be worried about that new competition. Hopefully today we've given you some ideas, we've given you some motivation, and we got you really excited to step up your sales and marketing plans so that you welcome that new construction, see the advantages that it has to having them in your submarket, and really looking for ways to capitalize on that traffic that they're going to be drawing to your submarket. You may see some of your best results ever because of the new energy that they're bringing to your submarket. So make it work for you. Well, everybody, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you came up with some really good ideas and you feel motivated to dig in and compete against new construction.
Kate, that was great. Thank you so much for sharing that with us today, and thank you for filling in on behalf of Lisa. This webinar was recorded, so we will send out an email with the recording. It's also posted to the conference website. So you should have that either later today or early next week. And thank you, everyone, for attending, and we look forward to seeing you in Atlanta next year. Have a great afternoon.